Welcome to your weekly Mom Escape, a space where you can kick back, relax, and teleport to the world of me time. So grab your favorite drink and come escape with us.
Hey, Mom Squad. Welcome to your weekly escape. I'm Tiffany.
I'm Nikki.
I'm Tramika.
And I'm Marian. Make sure you share, like, and subscribe and hit that notification bell. That's what it's called. And hit that notification bell so that you and the mom that you love can be here next time for your weekly mom escape. Now, today we have a fun topic. It's called Left Side of the Menu Living. Tramika, you brought this up. Why don't you tell us real quick what that's about?
Yes, so I thought that this topic was very interesting. I was listening to a podcast that my husband was listening to. I know you all have probably heard of Secret to Success with ET. And so on this particular podcast, he was explaining how we typically have the mindset, or based on circumstances or how we grew up, we live on the right side of the menu versus the left side of the menu. And he was explaining the difference between the two. Like, if you pay attention to a menu, and I never even thought about this until I like heard them talking about this. If you pay attention to every menu, if I open a restaurant, I'm gonna do it backwards on purpose. If you pay attention to every menu, right? On the left side of the menu is like all the items, whether it's your appetizers, your entrees, your drinks, or whatever. And on the right side is your prices. So I can recall several times that when I go into the restaurant, I'll look to see what they have on the left side, but I'm definitely basing my order on the right side. And so on this particular podcast, he was talking about like how it was a mindset and what does it take to get to a place where you can go into a restaurant and literally your experience can be based on what you got a taste for, like everything literally on the left side of the menu. And not that the right side does not matter, but it doesn't dictate the purchase or the experience, right? And so I just thought that was really good, very interesting, and I wanted to introduce the topic tonight for us to talk about. So Tiffany, I know we kind of briefly talked about this behind stage, and you found a video that gives a little bit more context to what we're going to be talking about tonight. So if you can play the video, and then we'll hop into this topic in full.
Yeah, sure.
You got to get outside of your surroundings. Your level of exposure will determine your level of success. Some of you are counting the cost of an item when dealing with your life. You cannot go through life looking at the right side of the menu when making decisions for your life. It's a cause and an effect to everything in life. And if you go through life only making decisions for your spouse, only making decisions for your children, only making decisions for your health based on what the cost is, then you a thief. And you robbing your family of having the full experience of life. You're a thief. You're cheating them. You have to go through life making the best decision because it's the best decision and not the cheapest. If you go through life only making the cheapest decisions, it will come back and bite you in the butt later on in life.
Okay,
Wow.
so I mean, I can take this so many angles, right? First of all, I can say when it comes to choosing things for myself, because we're all moms here, right? I'll choose the cheaper option for me, but then the price doesn't matter when it comes to my kids. Like, that's a lane we can go down tonight with this, right? And then the other thing too is I've basically been in situations where that right side of the menu actually does matter. Like, it matters. So Nikki, what's your take on this? Like, what are you thinking and processing based on our topic tonight?
I had to come for me first. So no. So I'm thinking. So actually, when I'm thinking about a particular experience in mind, I went on a cruise. Well, and the cruise was on a different cruise line that I've never been on. Now I had made a commitment that I wasn't, because previously the only cruise lines I had been on was Carnival, and I wanted a different experience. So I went on the cruise line, and they had a spa. And so when it was showing me everything in the spa, I was like, "Ooh, I wanna do this." And so instantly, I was just like, "Sign me up." So then, usually we get buyer's remorse, and I was thinking, I said, "Did I just waste the money? Did I just waste the money?" But then as I'm in this whirlpool and having this experience, something said, if you're here, then you came for it. Like if if you're
Love
here, then you
it.
came. So have the experience. Have the experience. And so another way that I looked at it is that the only way to elevate your experiences is sometimes you just have to take the plunge and do it. That you get the experience of it, and then you're telling like the universe, okay, I want more of that. And then that makes room to continue elevating your experiences.
I love it. I love it. I love it. What about you, Tiffany?
First off, listeners, excuse my voice because I am not in the top of shape. And for those on YouTube, excuse my wraparound blanket, but I'm a little chilly and cold. So I'm sure
Look, Tiffany, you was a trooper tonight. Thank you for coming.
all of you guys can understand that life. So, yes. First, I totally love the example that Nikki gave. Been in similar situations. And I think the key is once you have it, you want more. That's the biggest thing is once you have it, when you want more. Now, I am a combo of the left side menu and the right side menu. For me, it's when I'm out with the family, I'm more, hold on, the left side are the appetizers and the lower priced items, right? The left side. Yes.
So
right?
your left side is just your items, but your right side is the prices.
Oh, I thought they meant the literal page. Okay, so we're basing it off of the words, not the number.
Right.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, y'all. I got a little bit confused, but it's the same concept, though. It's the same concept. I feel like when I am, though, with the family, because there is 5 of us, I am very conscious, though, of the numbers, unless it's pre-planned. And then usually, though, if I pre-plan something, then I'm splurging. It doesn't matter. As I'm splurging, I want to have experience. And then when I'm with my husband, just him and I, we splurge. Like about 2 years ago was our first year in Atlanta, and it was our anniversary, and we splurged so much. It was utterly. I was like, Nikki, I
How
was like,
much y'all spend, girl? How much y'all
oh my
spend?
goodness. We stayed at one of them high-end hotels that was like $400 a
Okay.
night. We rented a car that had black leather interior, drop down seats. Like people thought we were literally someone asked, y'all look, I had this little African dress. Someone really thought I was like some royalty in Africa. She was like, well, where are you
Yes.
from? Where are you from? And I'm like, where am I from? I said, well, I just moved from DC and I was in Philly for a while. She was like, oh, someone thought my husband was a football player. Like, we just spent so much money, and it was just like, so the F what, let's just live our best life. And it's one of those things like we enjoyed it. And it's like when me and him go out, we just want to not think about money and just enjoy ourselves. So I get it. It just depends on the situation. Really depends on if you're talking about 2 people versus 5.
Right. Listen, we're a family of 5 over here too, so I get that.
Marian, what is your experience with this? Or you have any insight as well from your view?
Yeah, so funny thing is I wasn't even thinking about luxury or leisure or any of that. The things that made me think about were the experiences I try to have for my son, or the education and certifications that I'm trying to have for myself to provide a better life for my son. So, like I'm working on my PMP. I'm a project manager. So I'm trying to get my PMP. Now my company, we're going into scale agile. So all those safe trainings, I know I'm speaking gibberish right now, but they're expensive is the point. And so what I can do is stay where I'm at. I can say I can't afford that training and stay where I'm at, or I can find a way, make a way to get the training and be able to afford better for my son, because I'll be able to move up. Same thing with him, like, getting music lessons and coding camps and all that stuff costs. But
just like a mama, just thinking
there's
about your baby.
Yeah, so those things cost, but like the reward at the end, like, it's priceless. The things that he will experience and be exposed to is priceless. So
That's true.
that's what I
And
was
even
thinking
Mary
about.
making that point of your investment in yourself, that part right there is just kind of like, well, that's definitely one of those things you have to look at the words opposed to, the financial part and making a way to make that happen. I feel you on that.
But I remember days where I was like broke, right? And I'm going to these fancy restaurants like, well, I just ain't gonna leave no tip. I'm just gonna pay. I calculated the price of the food. But even that, I was like, Tramika, if you can't afford to be here for the whole experience, then don't come. And I like, so even after listening to that podcast, I told myself, like, if I don't have the money to like have the full experience, I don't want to go on a trip. I don't want to go in the restaurant. I don't want to go in the shop, the mall, the store, all of that, because I totally get where he's coming from. It does kind of diminish the experience, or it can, right? It can diminish the experience. And so I kind of want to shift the conversation just a little bit. And I want to ask all of you, like, what does your ideal life look like to get there? Because one of the things, I was just having a conversation with my friend the other day, and I was like, we got to stop complaining about the price of eggs and milk and all the things. We just got to get more income. Like, we can't keep complaining and saying, like, it costs so much. It's not going anywhere. And so if we want to maintain the lifestyle that we're at, right, and then still want to go further, or want to like have a higher standard, or whatever that looks like, more vacations, more fancy restaurants, more hotel stays, we just have to get more income. And so, like, what does that look like? And for everybody, it looks different. And so I placed the question on the table to get to a point where you can just, I don't have to choose the cheaper route or be so focused on the left side of the menu, and I can choose my experience based off the full right side. Like, what does that look like in your life? What does getting there look like? Are you already there? Like, what does that look like?
Side hustles. Side hustles. I know. For me, I even picked up actually Instacart because Shannon mentioned it in one of our Mom Squad
Oh,
meetings.
yeah. Shout out to the Mom
And
Squad.
yes, shout out, and how she went to actually one of our retreats or conference, can't remember which one, but June and November, you guys. And she said she was able to get her flight through Instacart. And I always remembered it, but I was just like, whatever. And so this year, one of our goals, we have some goals financially we want to achieve, and we have a couple of trips. Like my husband, we have a birthday trip for him going on a cruise in February. And I was like,
Yes.
yes. And I'm like, we're going to splurge out. So I'm up here delivering people orders, messing them up. Luckily enough, Instacart tells you it's wrong. So they're like, incorrect item. But that, and then I have side businesses as well. One of them I goes directly back into the business because it costs a little bit more to maintain. And then my other one is consulting, and all of that is just my play money for whatever it wants. So for me personally, it's just hustling out to get that extra money to do, whatever that I want to do.
Okay. I love it. What about you, Mary?
Yeah, similar to Tiffany. I have 7 streams that I've identified.
Okay,
And
7 streams.
my 2023. So yeah, my 2023 is about it's about cultivating and building those up, and seeing, or at least planning them out and having at least 2 or 3 of them going by the end of the year. So yeah. And that's my plan, that's my pathway, and we well on our way.
Yes, I love it. Nikki.
So it sounds like y'all are talking like practical, and I don't know.
We'll share your unpractical. That's okay. Everything doesn't have to be practical.
But in my way, so for me, it's more about being very intentional and careful with my words and how I how I frame things and not defaulting to things like, oh, I can't afford it, or, those type of words.
Mm-hmm.
Words
Um,
have power.
and yeah, so choosing my words carefully and being more mindful, being truthful about what it is that I want, because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes because our money dictates a particular like boundary, of what we think we can have and can't have. Even if it's realistic that I can't afford it, I'm still going to be honest in saying that this is what I want. Because sometimes we even begin to trim down what we say we want based on what we think we can afford. So I'm staying true to
Mm,
what it is that I want.
I like that,
because
Nikki.
want and like the true desire creates, like it makes room for what you want. But if I start lying to myself and saying that no, I'll just settle for this, then I'm just going to keep getting more of that. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing
I
like
like
I
that.
love that.
I'm
You
playing
always have something deep.
mind tricks.
I
Right,
like
right. Deep and
it.
intellectual and passionate.
Maybe I need to change my words rather than run around here
That's
dropping
where it
off these
starts.
groceries.
I agree with the, because life and death is in the power of the tongue. So there's power there. I think for me, it's tapping into my gifts and talents more. And so one of the things that I can say is, oh, I can run around and do all this stuff and work and work and work and work and constantly work, where there's natural gifts that I've been given that it can easily flow through me that other people need. And that can become a resource, not only a resource for me to bring in things monetarily, but it may open up the door for favor. It may open up the door for
Mhm.
opportunity. Somebody might want to fly me on a private jet because I was able to play in a conference. You know what I mean?
I
So
see
I
that.
think for me, it's like really tapping into my gifts and talents and putting it out to the world and letting the world know what I have and boldly walking in it. I think for so long, I knew that I've been good at stuff, but to me, it wasn't a big deal because it's so easy to me, right? But
Mm,
then when I see how much other people value it, and I'm like, oh my God, this can bring treasures to me. And treasures looks differently. Like I said, it can be monetarily, or it can just be like opportunities or favors or resources, whatever that may look like. And so that's what I'm doing, because one of the things I was telling my friend is I'm not about to live differently. Like my goal is to increase and go
mhm.
forward. Like I don't want to back from the way I've been living. So how do I sustain what I've been doing plus do more? And do more doesn't mean necessarily just always vacationing and stuff like that. But I love what Nikki talked about knowing that I aspire to do some things and not lying to myself or say cutting it short. Like I want to go to Hawaii. That's probably like my only dream trip I could think of. I want to go to Hawaii one day, but instead of saying, if I really want to go for 2 weeks, I want to go for 2 weeks and not saying, well, I'm just gonna fly over there for 3 days because it's a little cheaper. So that's kind of where I am when it comes to the left side of the menu living.
So there was another spin to this, right? Is there's another video that I came across, and it's a little different. It's how the mom handled not being able to offer the left side of the menu. And
Mm,
what she did was hers, it was a class trip. And shout out to I can't remember who the who the person was on Instagram, but shout out to them. And they oh gosh, you guys, I'm having technology issues out here. All y'all on YouTube. Excuse me this evening. So she could not afford her son going to SeaWorld. And so what she did is she did this fun day with him, this whole new trend of when this comes out, I don't know. But
oh, the index card things.
exactly.
Yes. Okay.
Really, really fun things like, okay, do having breakfast with mom and dad, busting out his older brother out of school, dinner. This was all a school day. She did this the day they went to SeaWorld, so he didn't have to go to school. So I thought that was pretty dope because she just took a spin like, look, I can't afford it, cannot afford it. However, let me see what other way I can do it. I knew it had to cost money because there was multiple things she did, but she did it within
Hmm.
her means. So it kind of still circles back to, you also don't want to live beyond your means because a lot of us in our
Mm.
community do that. So it's being mindful. Yes, I want to do this, but you have to be realistic to a point. If you have the capability to splurge and handle it later, great. But if you do not, you have got to get creative and make the best of what it is that is within your budget. So I think that's one thing to always keep in mind as well, because we don't want folks out here just having the time of their lives and they don't have any money to pay rent or can't put clothes on their children's backs. So that was an interesting view that I really really enjoyed when I watched it.
Yeah. I feel like oh, I was gonna say we gotta remember though, like that was a perfect idea how she got creative and was able to do something for her child, and it wasn't like an all or nothing. It wasn't just like, well, you can't go, you can stay home, we're just gonna be at home. Like she still created an experience for her child. And so whatever it is, whether like for me it's education and experiences, for you guys it's luxury and leisure, you still can do something but like Tiffany said, within your means. So you don't have to live a life of just dull and nothing and stagnation. Do things as you can. So that's all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that you both bring up a good point because number one, I don't want people to feel like we're just talking about living like this luxurious life, right? It's based off what you said, Marian, like all types of experiences, whether it's educational things for our children, things for us and our spouse, us and our friends, whatever that looks like, right? So it can be all types of things. It's just really about being in a position where money kind of restricts you. But I'm so glad that Tiffany, you brought up the point of, not living beyond your means, because just like what Nikki said, when you have to be truthful about what you want, add it to the bucket list, but be truthful with yourself, whether or not you are literally in a place where you can afford it. So we're not saying like, I don't care, just get up and go to Papa Do's. That's my favorite restaurant. And just order everything on the right
I love
side. And
Papa
then when you get the
Do's.
bill, yes, that's my place, girl. That's my place. And then when you get the bill, it's like, who gonna pay this bill? Or now I can't pay an actual bill in my house tomorrow because I've spent so much. That's not what we're saying. But we are saying getting to a place where you can enjoy life experiences, but you got to go through your process and through your journey. So if that takes you doing those side hustles for a couple years, couple months, whatever that looks like, or changing your language, how you're speaking about the things in your life, like Nikki mentioned, like you have to go through your process. If it takes, I gotta go to Applebee's for 2 years before I can get to a Papa Do's, then that's fine. But it's living in the moment, no matter where you are on your journey, is what I want to drive. Go ahead, Nikki.
Got my church finger up. But that kind of living, like living based off of what you're attracted to, like what you want, it teaches you something about yourself. And it taught me a little bit about myself and my authenticity, because I had never been like a name brand type person, you know what I'm saying? But this was a long time ago. I would find myself attracted to things, right? And I'm like, oh my God, I like those shoes, right? Buy the shoes and then find out later that they were inspired by or some version of a knockoff of some other name brand luxury shoe. And I'm like, wow, I didn't even know that, because I don't pay attention to those things.
Mm-hmm.
So when I started noticing over time that the things that I'm naturally attracted to are expensive. So I was like, wait a minute. You like expensive things, like naturally. And I think it's more based on quality than it is just about cost. But I'm starting to learn about myself about, and that's another thing. You learn that it's not because it costs a certain thing, but because I authentically really like that. Like nobody told me the price, nobody told me the brand.
That's good.
But I'm genuinely attracted to it. So I just like, well, I just got to start making more money.
Yep.
But you know what came up, or what I'm feeling, or the thought that came up, is if we're naturally attracted to something. Because if we're going in a restaurant or we're going somewhere and we're looking at the right side and not, we're choosing off the right side based than the left side, right? And so we're naturally attracted to it, like you mentioned. Do we not believe that God will give us provision for our natural attractions?
Yeah.
And so that's something that we have to
I
keep
think
in mind as well. If I like the $3,000 shoes and I'm always typically attracted to these type of shoes, well, let me just say this. If I like the shoes because they have snake skin, whatever, right? And I'm naturally attracted to the snake skin, and it just so happened that the snake skin cost $3,000. Laura, are you able to provide me with provision
Mhm.
for the things that I'm naturally attracted to? And so that was just a thought that kind of came up. So I like that.
That's true. So let me ask y'all, what is, or if you have one, what is your biggest buyer's remorse? And don't ask
Ooh.
me first because I'm thinking on it too, but I'm just curious on.
No, I already got mine.
All right,
Look,
what's
y'all can
yours?
say y'all. So not in full, but so we built our house. We built our house, I think, about 6 years ago. And as soon as I left design, we picked out everything. Like we got to pick out everything. My husband let me pick out everything. As soon as I left design, well, maybe like a week later, I was emailing the lady asking her for changes, and she was like, "It's too late. Like we already ordered the counterparts, the carpet, the like it's too late. The knobs, like we are." And so literally, I have went through 6 years of living like, man, I should have. So that's my biggest buyer remorse that I didn't choose different designs in my house, and that's a big one because it was like our upgrades were like $120,000. So that's huge.
So what do you mean that you didn't choose different designs? Was it because if you chose the other designs, would you still be saying that? Or was it due to the cost that you wish you chose different designs?
I did choose due to the cost because we had to stay up under a certain number. And then the other thing was like certain paint color. Like I went with like I don't know, like an egg and not a shell. And I wish I would have did like a gray. I went with like darker tone cabinets and countertops, and I wish I would have did like gray tones and white. And so that literally, like, I want to get it all done over right now. And my husband's like, yeah, but no, this house is practically still brand new. So that literally is my biggest buyer's remorse.
Okay. All righty. Marian, what is yours?
Child, I'm being honest, I can't think of nothing. I haven't made that many big purchases in my life so far. So
I was about to say that might be a good thing that you
It
can't think
is.
of anything. You solid in your decision.
Exactly. All right then. Nikki, what about you?
yeah.
I'm awful. I always have buyer's remorse. I've taken whole cars back to the dealership.
Oh my goodness. Ma'am, what kind of car did you take back? Oh God. I don't think I've ever been bold enough to do that.
I did it twice. I think I did it twice.
Oh,
I hope they don't
wow.
got your face on their little backboard. Like if you see this
Right,
lady,
like
don't help her.
I mean, it's bad. Like I got home. I got home and I couldn't sleep. So I can't. I'm gonna need my
that
trade and
is
back, sir.
hilarious.
Enough for me.
That's
What can you share what the make and
hilarious.
models were? I'm curious.
So this was a long time ago. So I believe one was like a Mazda. I can't remember the what kind. And then the other one was a two-door, a Honda Accord coupe, and it was nice. It was nice.
Ooh.
And the thing is,
Honda Accords are good cars.
They are. I have nothing but Hondas.
Then
I've only bought Hondas.
I ended up getting that same car again a few years later, but it was really a mindset thing. It was like I just couldn't get adjusted to, like, the car note was just higher than what I was used to paying. And then when I ended up buying the car the second time, I paid it all in cash. You know what I'm saying? So it just took time for me to catch up with spending larger amounts of money.
So it was all based on cost. So that's really interesting. That's interesting that it was based on cost.
Well, mine is, as I'm thinking through, I know exactly which one because I've always said I was pissed off I did it. I got a personal trainer one time, and it was $800. And I felt like, and this was years ago though, and I felt like I did not lose the weight that I was supposed to lose. And the meal plan he gave me was horrible. He had me eating the same whack food every day. I don't like that. What he had me doing, who knows if it worked? And I felt like it wasn't at the gym enough. And I just remember I always regretted. I hope, I hope his wife don't see it. But I know he had, I know exactly what it is. But I was so mad, and I will never, because of the experience, I actually will never pay for
Oh my gosh. You got me in tears.
his
Oh my
off.
gosh. Wait,
'Cause I
hold
should
on.
have
I
been,
got so many questions.
I
I got so many questions. Hold
should
on.
have been slim and trim after that. I still look the same, like only 5
So
pounds.
did you pay all the whole 800 like all at once, or was it in
No,
payment?
I believe it was like a monthly payment plan, but I kept having hope, like, oh, this is good. And then it was like, do you want to renew? No. Do I look different? No. Why would I want to renew? So I was just, yeah, that was I would say my biggest buyers when I was paying for a darn personal trainer. I still look the same at the end of the time. So
Oh my God. That I did not expect that. That's hilarious. I mean, I still got questions, but it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. That's interesting. Okay. That was a good question though. So at this point, I think we have had a great conversation, and so I hope all of our listeners and our viewers, we want to hear your take. Jot down in the comments, let us know what you think. What's your take about the left side of the menu living? And so now, y'all, it's time to go into our take it or
and
leave
let us
it.
know your biggest buyer's remorse. We would love to
Oh
see
yes,
what
that'd be
you
a good one. I want to read them. Yes, we need to like read some of those on the show one day because
Yes.
yours was hilarious. Cars and trainers and houses and countertops. All right, y'all. It's time for our take it or leave it. What are you going to take from today's episode, and what are you going to leave? I'm gonna go first, and I think what I'm gonna take is one of the comments that Nikki made earlier in the show when she said, "If you paid for it, then you wanted to be here." And so sometimes I do feel like, oh my God, Trick, what did you just do? You spent 200, 300, 400, $500,000 on the trip or all the things, right? Matter of fact, I just booked a trip Mexico, and me and my friend was joking like she gonna be the stripper and I'm gonna be the manager because I ain't getting on nobody pole. So I was like, girl, I'm gonna do private shows for you. You're not gonna have to get in the little nasty clubs because I was like, how are we gonna pay for this? So I instantly like had some regret, right? Because it's so expensive to travel now. But I am going to take away, I'm leaving that and I'm gonna take away I want to be there. If I pay for it, then I want to be there and I want to have that experience. And so I'm gonna pay it off and I'm gonna have that experience.
Good stuff. Good. So you have to tell us about the trip afterwards.
Yes. Yes. All right, Nikki, what you taking or leaving?
I am taking elevated experiences. pushing the envelope for, elevating my experiences and just leaving the limited thoughts of, I think the whole video, the what he said was very profound, in that you can't make lifelong decisions, like life impacting decisions, based on the cost, solely based on the cost of things. And so really considering, the impact and the value that it's going to add to your life.
All right, cool. And what we'll do, you guys, also we'll drop that link in the description. So if anyone wants to go back, listen to it just for some uplifting words, it will be there. My takeaway or takeaway is going to be what also something that Nikki said, and about having a desire. If that is your desire to want to do that, then it's kind of like a meant to be thing, and you make it happen type of way. So that is definitely my take it. My leave it is I don't know if I really have a leave it right now. I think leave it is maybe being a little bit mindful with family experiences. Just how when me and my husband, we're out here splurging, having the best time of our lives. maybe I need to have my children have those type of experiences as well. Rather than it being on a budget, is let my children start experiencing that as well. So I think I'm gonna try to leave that behind.
Yeah, look, y'all going to steakhouses and you taking the kids to Wendy.
Yeah. Well, you know what's crazy though? It's bad I say that because my husband took my 3-year-old to a restaurant, asked what she wanted, and she said lobster, and he bought her lobster. So this little 3-year-old had 2 little lobsters. So he does that. He will splurge for the kids. I'm like, yeah, no, not today. So we'll see. We'll see. What about you, Marian?
I'm taking, I don't know if I have anything to leave, but what I'm taking is what Nikki said also about noticing what you're naturally attracted to and realizing that you deserve that. So, yeah.
Nikki, you are like the MVP tonight, okay? You are the MVP.
I love
He be
it.
dropping gems, y'all. Wait till this.
Yes. We need to start capturing what some of those gems Nikki says and then just put them in the comments or something, the description, so we can hold on to those. Words by Nikki.
Eyes.
All right.
All right, y'all. So that was our topic. That was our take it or leave it. We ain't gonna hold y'all. We're gonna get up out of here. Just make sure that again you like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you and the moms that you love can be here the next time for your weekly Mom Escape. And if you're just listening on your favorite podcast app, make sure you follow us. And if you can, give us a 5-star rating and leave a comment. Till the next time, I'll see y'all later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.